Okay, we're live.
We're live.
Let me actually tell people. In the cafe. We're in the cafe. The cafe. Coffee. I need more coffee. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you had a question for me?
Yeah, it was a pretty basic one, I suppose. So how long does it usually take you to recompile the schemas?
So when I do an edit on the
Yeah,
schemas for the data contract stuff, it usually takes like 20 seconds at most.
20
Yeah,
seconds.
it's not that long. For
How long does it?
the actual generation time is like a second or two.
Yeah.
But then the project
How long does
recompiling
it?
takes a longer.
Yeah, let's say you add like a variable onto a script or something,
Yeah.
and you want to, of course, add that to the serialization, so it gets what's the word I'm looking for? Replicated to all clients.
Yes.
How long would it take you to do that?
Oh, I mean once it's in the schema, it's pretty much replicated.
Sure, in the
So
schema, but there's also client side stuff.
I mean, so it takes like a minute. So it takes like a minute or at most to like
Okay.
generate that and have the code. But once it's in the schema,
Okay.
the data is available to the client,
Okay.
and then just use it however I want.
So in the on the Unreal side of the fence, um I it took me about 2 minutes to add character names appearing above people's heads, which that's not much, but it was surprising how quick it was to get done up.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Considering that was the first thing I've added to it. Actually, I think it was because you have to do manual editing on this spatial, sorry, not
The
spatial, but
the
the schemas.
iteration time is actually pretty fast, considering it's a fully online system.
Yeah. One of the things it generates is like a map file internally with like all the IDs in it.
Uh, yeah, 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 because it uses a protobuf underneath, so it has to have like a
Mm-hmm.
numbered something or another.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like so they built so originally it was pretty much straight protobuf that you were
Yeah.
writing, but then they threw their own schema laying over it because they needed some
Mm-hmm.
specific stuff for spatial.
Mm-hmm.
But then, but now with that, how it is now, it kind of feels like there's some legacy left over from that. It's like when you're writing the schema, do you really need to know those IDs? Do you really need to write out those
No.
IDs? Because it's not, because the benefit of protobuf is that you would be able to do like versioned approaches of like updating
But
your
the
data.
problem with that is they ran into the issue that no one actually did that because it didn't actually
Yeah,
work.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like so I mean they're kind of carrying over some
Yeah.
some what I feel like is legacy stuff
Yeah.
in the lang
I
in
think,
the language.
yeah, I think one of the big things they're also missing is the automated tooling on the Unity side, but that's only because Unity won't give them access to source code. Especially not since the big event, anyway.
Yeah.
I suppose before then they might have been able to negotiate a source code license, but I don't think they'd be up for that.
No, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, and JetBrains Rider recently added support for Unreal Engine 5,
That's really nice.
even though it released like 2 days ago,
Nice,
which is
nice.
unusual.
This is
Anyway, how are things going? How
unusual.
goes the combat work?
It's actually going really well. If you looked into the Two Kinds channel, I'm kind of hitting the stride. I still need to do some adjustments for actually using the bow, but I pretty much have a lot of the setup done, at least for the visuals.
Oh, the bow?
Yeah, so the bow is gonna so all melee combat's gonna be pretty close to the same. You're gonna have like a set number of hit combo and then a little cooldown before you can do it at the next set again. But the bow
You don't have anything.
but the bow is completely different. It's a charge shot and aiming. So setting crossbows is going to be a reload.
Yeah.
Instead, also a completely different mechanism. But once I get the bow set up, setting up another kind of combat profile like that, it won't be that difficult.
There's only like a handful of like actual ranged weapons that exist. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so much once you go between I consider one the charge shot, and the other one is like a shoot reload.
Because I mean, a bow is pretty similar to a slingshot.
Yes. Yeah, would be
I imagine a slingshot might have more exotic ammunition.
Yes, the slingshot would be still the same like charging mechanic.
Oh yes. Let's see. So bow, slingshot, pretty much the same as a bow.
We have a question from Das King. Different arrow types.
Where is this?
In no mic voice.
Oh, different arrow types.
I mean, yeah, but it still doesn't change the mechanic of how the shooting works.
There wouldn't even be that many different arrow types, too.
We might do explosive. Those would be no, those will be super rare. But we could do like poison tipped and stuff.
Can you do blunt tipped ones?
For like non-lethal, maybe. If
you just so you can shoot your friends.
I mean, if we want to work that into something.
You know what's going to happen.
I mean, yes. That's true. Yeah, so the bow setup's looking pretty good. I also worked on like the putting it on your back.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then there's hackery in order to get it to do like left-handed weapons.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I could think of for sort of ranged weapons would be obviously slings, which are not really charged, and then just regular ass thrown weapons like javelins and stuff.
Yeah, javelin would be like the bow charge shot.
Is it really a charge though?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you gotta. So I call it charge, but really it's like the ready aim action.
Okay, here's a question for you. If you can make it so someone can run with a javelin and throw it farther than if they're standing, I will give you $20.
You'll give me $20?
Yes.
That's funny because I owe you money. I mean that's something that we can do. So we just have to check velocity or check input, see if we're moving forward. But that's something I don't really want to do.
Or if you can like press say fire and forward at the same time.
Yes. That's what we're doing actually for the for like the weapon draw.
Really?
Yeah, so was it last week I was saying that after playing Monster Hunter World, like the smoothness of that draw.
You were sort of enamored with.
I am. It's like, oh yeah, this just feels good. So the difference was if you're just standing there and you click attack, you draw your weapon with no attack. But if you're running forward or moving, you'll draw and do like a downward slash to do an attack at the same time.
Have you?
It feels good like as a charge. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you used the dual blades?
Yes, that's my preferred
Have
weapon.
you used the dual blades while going down a slope?
No. Do you like roll, spin roll?
You turn into a fucking Beyblade.
I was gonna say, don't. Isn't there like a dive spin with dive like tornado spin or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're sliding down a slope or a dune or something and you pull out those weapons, you will turn into a goddamn Beyblade and just go
Yeah, that's way too
hog
stylish
wild.
for us.
Oh, hell yeah. So the bow guns, or at least I believe the light bow gun, also has a secondary attack which lays down what are basically landmines.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're
They they last for like 15 seconds and they blow up unless something steps on them. But that's just for hunting monsters. Have you given any thought into siege weaponry?
No, I have not had the time.
No? I mean, okay, you already implemented the like the fireball stuff, right?
Yeah.
With just the environmental hazards.
Yes.
So I guess it's not really a huge stretch for, say, a ballista or something.
No. That's probably about the same mechanic. It's just fires a projectile. Just a different type of projectile. So I have a basic projectile trap shooting setup.
Yeah.
I
I guess you use the same projectile.
So
as
doing
most
so
stuff.
so doing that probably won't be that far off.
No. Let's see. What else could there be? Do you have any plans for exotic weapons?
Yes.
Well, you can't just say one word. You gotta give us some information.
Oh, what do you
man.
mean by exotic?
You can't just answer a question with a yes if you don't know what the question means.
I say yeah.
Okay, I don't mean exotic like nunchucks, because I imagine that would be a serious pain in the ass.
That'll
to,
be like its own unique animation system, and I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
no.
Yeah, that's no fun. I mean, there's you can get some strange weapons, historically speaking. Some of them are.
I mean, as
less...
long as it fits on our animation styles, yeah.
Okay. But what I mean by exotic weapons is, you take a long sword, you take a short sword, you take any long sword, they're pretty much all gonna perform the same, right?
Yeah.
But of course, there are weapons that may exist that are just so far out of the range of normal that you might need unique animation sets, for example.
Yes. I'm thinking like like a katana might have like the draw strike. That's pretty classic katana.
Also, you pretty much know people are gonna be angry at you if it doesn't look different.
I know, huh? Yeah. So the regular attacks are gonna be exactly the same, but yeah, you'll have like your special attack different or something. I don't know. I'm still figuring out bows, man.
I know.
You know, and then of course I only have so many animations to work with at the moment.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
This is still related on the. This is actually on the topic of bows.
Yes. Back to bows.
But also sort of spatial OS related. Do they have simulated players on Unity side, spatial?
Yes, yes they do. I just don't know how to set those. I don't. So they have a way to like spawn multiple clients to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some automated way. I'm not actually sure how they do it though.
I have a slight request, something I'd like you to try at some point.
Yes.
Do you remember the scene from 300?
Yes.
Can you do a volley fire?
We could try that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun. We need a test to load like that at some point. It's just I don't know how to set up like the fake testing clients. Although they do have examples on how to do it.
Locally you might be able to just set up the arrow projectile just to spawn and fire.
Yeah, if anything I would spawn a bunch of NPCs or just spawn a bunch of arrows to shoot.
On the topic of bows, how much drop do they have when you're firing?
Oh, that's what I'm wondering. We don't want to just do hit scan, right? We want to actually
Oh hell
we actually
no.
want to fire a bow projectile. If Minecraft can do
Um,
it, we can do it.
yeah, either firing a bow projectile or potentially. Okay, so there is a method of not hit scan, but also sort of hit scan, where they'll do basically a firing calculation and say it's like, is there a chance this can hit anything? No, then it's okay.
Yeah.
If yes, then they do some more advanced stuff.
Yeah, I think we'll just do like a calculated arc because trying to use real gravity. Um if we try to use real gravity in order to make it actually the arrow has to go too fast to counter that actual drop. And that
Really?
well yeah. I mean that's what the fireball is dealing with right now.
There isn't any
Like
like
we're launching it with like a force of like 50 meters a second right now. Maybe I'm
Sorry,
wrong.
I need to
So
break up. Okay.
sorry. So yeah. So if we're doing an actual projectile, if we're doing a projectile like that, we'll modify like the gravity drop and make it like half as fast. Because with real gravity, that thing drops really fast.
Okay.
When you want to
So
go
50
further.
meters per second is actually slower than a paintball.
Really? Well, I mean, you also got to be able to see it too. That's the other thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like if we you have to be able to see the projectile, but still fast enough to hit someone. So it's like sometimes
At the same time, though, it's like you. I understand the necessity to be able to see it, but in some cases, it's sort of a method of like if you see it, it's kind of too late.
yeah. Well, and that's why I'm wondering. Like maybe we actually do want to do like a hit scan or something of it real quick.
Okay. So Empire asked a question in No Mike voice that I completely didn't see until just now, and I don't know if you saw
I
it either.
saw it. I was trying to find a window to actually bring it in.
Oh, great! I'm great at opening windows.
Well, yay.
You can't just leave a window open, my man. You gotta do something about it.
Okay.
I can't just be saying stuff and then you're not doing anything. Anyway, he's asking, will there be a party system added?
Party system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Part of this big updates work was in doing some chat stuff with Vivox.
Oh yes, Vivox.
Yeah, so at some point I'm gonna add the party system, and then you'll have party chat along with it.
Okay. I think the party chat would be the. I suppose the most important thing with that is the party data structure.
Yeah, well, it's
Then automatic.
in.
Then you automatically like generate the Vivox chat room for it.
Yeah, so and interestingly enough, PlayFab has just one unified groups system. So we're gonna use
Mhm.
that as both the guild and the party.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So essentially
It makes sense.
parties will stick around even if people log out, and then at some point we just have to clean up and disband the party. So you can so everybody can log out and then log back in, and the party should still be there. But
You could make it so that when the party leader logs out, that it automatically closes out the group.
we should probably do that, yeah. And that's just messaging, making sure that it gets sent somewhere and told that it needs to be removed.
Mhm.
And then so the mechanism of setting up the party chat and setting up guild chat is going to be pretty close to the same.
I think one of the things that the party does open up when you do it is that the players need access to much more data about their party members than they normally do about people they're playing alongside.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to know like how much life they have, how much mana they have, presumably any status effects they might have.
Yeah, get into
That sort of
skill
deal.
share and stuff like that too, or EXP share.
EXP sharing, yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing Ooh, actually that's a bit of a problem now that I think about it. Hey, Judah.
Yeah.
I think you just described ninja ganking without actually describing it.
What?
Okay, so you said that you need to have a party for EXP sharing, right?
Yeah.
Question. Currently, if 2 people are attacking something, one of them kills it, who gets EXP?
Right now it's the killer.
Yeah, that's been a problem in video games and MMOs for
I
a really long time.
know. Well, I mean, we have the simplest solution for that is always whoever kills the creature gets the EXP. Because I mean, if you're talking about like, oh, who did the most damage to it, or who attacked first, all of a sudden you have to keep track of all these extra variables. And then when it dies, you have to do the calculation at the end.
Also, New Genesis comes out on the 9th, and when I was doing the open-closed beta, I don't know what it is. It was a very basic setup.
Yeah, I saw it's coming out on the 9th.
When I was doing that, they had a much more simple EXP sharing system.
How'd they do it?
If you were nearby, you got EXP.
Oh.
That's it. You just had to be in a certain radius of the thing that got killed.
That is really simple. So that way you don't have to keep track of any other variables about like
you
who
don't need
did
to keep
damage
track
to
of
what.
like who killed it.
You just do
allows you to have people who are like actually like sitting there supporting you.
Yeah, you just do a check in the vicinity. What's the radius? Is it like 10 meters, 20 meters?
I'm gonna guess it's like 20, 30 meters.
Oh, wow. It's pretty decent.
Some of the enemies are fucking huge.
It's pretty decent. What do you think? Should we go that route then? That'll make support rolls a lot easier. And make it so you don't even have to party.
Yeah. I think it's probably the simplest and like least annoying for people. It does allow some cheesing, like, oh, we'll just drag you over here, but at that point, if you really want to, you can do like a difference in level check or something.
Yeah.
Just be like, it's like, hey, you have no business killing this thing. We're gonna give you a reduced amount of EXP.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can totally do that. And with the level scaling.
The level scaling?
I mean, sorry, not level scaling. With the level with leveling up, even if we don't like adjust how much experience is received at higher levels, that much experience for a lower level creature is really not that much. Or you mean dragging over a higher level creature to let other people kill it?
What it was? Sorry. Yeah. No, I mean like. If you kill an enemy who's higher level than you, obviously you deserve some EXP, right?
Yeah.
But there's a point at which you have to say, it's like, hey, we both know there's no way that you killed that thing. And then you have to ask the game, it's like, we want to give him the full EXP of this top level thing that got killed near him, or do we want to give him a reasonable reduced amount that's more or less in line with what his level should be getting?
If we want,
and also Empire's raising his hand.
If we want to prevent cheesing like that, we would want to do the scaling. Are we bringing in Empire?
Sure, go
Raising
for
your
it.
hand. Raised hand. Raised hand.
Yeah. On the thing of what you all were just talking about, I'm just saying, if y'all do that, a leveling thing would be a good idea. A scaling system. And two, if even with the scaling system, it would be still something I'll be trying just because why the hell not?
People will try to cheese no matter what. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying I'll do it immediately without even like I just because like hey, why not? I want a challenge.
Fair.
We just don't want a situation where it's like some person levels up like 20 goddamn times in a row.
From just one enemy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They dragged over like their friend or something.
Yeah, but it's like you could do it where it's like basically if you get like a certain level, like you get if you're at that level, you don't get like probably like the full amount. You get like the full amount if you're at the proper level where you're supposed to kill it. But if you're not, probably like depending on what level you are, or how close you are, let's say have it like at a like either a 3/4 or like half or a fourth of it, depending on how low level you are. Let's say.
If you're imagine if you're lower level and you do manage to kill it, you deserve like a small bonus of EXP.
Yeah,
But
but
not
not, but
like
enough, but like
not like
enough,
if you're like a tenth of its level.
but like enough that's like discourages you. That's like,
Yeah.
okay, killing this right now is not really worthwhile. I barely got any XP, and this was like, it was not worth the effort. Base sort of thing. You could do that, or just like you barely get any EXP from those things, or any. And if they drop loot, I would say no loot until you hit that level. I would say.
Okay, that one might
Or
be a
get close.
bit too much.
Well, or maybe closer to it, because
Because if you are killing something that's way higher than your level, it means you have someone with you.
not necessarily. But it
Um,
just means you're just
If you can cheese
'cause,
it
like,
and
from-
get the NPC stuck, and then shoot it with just range,
Arrows?
endlessly, yeah.
yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it might be it. Like I'm like God. I'm trying to remember. Like there was there was like an enemy in Star Wars: The Old Republic. It was hard as hell to beat, and it took me forever just to kill it, and I had to figure out the skills, all the skills that I had, what combination and what order to put them in, just to kill it properly, just to kill it without dying. And it was, and I don't remember what level that enemy was, but it was high enough that it killed me real easily.
Oh yeah.
But I was just able to take it on, like, I don't know how many times
Yeah, and I've
before I managed to defeat it.
cheesed so many enemies in Dark Souls, so yeah.
This wasn't cheesing, though. I actually was fighting it head on and without it being distracted by something else.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I'm just thinking about my own experience now.
yeah.
Cheesy. Yeah, we'll have to think about it. We'll probably need to do some sort of like EXP scale down if we're too under level.
Yeah, or the loot. I would say if like some level lockout for the loot, where it's like where if you're under level or something, they can't use it until they reach that level or something.
I think that depends on what the enemy is too.
Yeah.
Well, because if it's a material drop, then there's no point in not dropping it.
Yeah, it's mostly gonna be material.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna kill a bird and pull a battle axe out of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the item itself, not the loot drop. The loot dropping, that could still happen, but the item is locked until you get to a certain level. Then you can use it.
There's actually gonna be very little actual equipment loot drops.
Oh.
Like that. Yeah, most of it's gonna be crafting materials.
Okay.
So the crafters create all the items.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just in case it gets bigger, in case it gets actually more equipment drops, or equipment in general just drops. Like it should be at a certain level, if it needs be.
Right now, none of the equipment's level locked.
Well, I'm just saying because like equipment being level locked, it kind of would help out with, well, preventing lower level players from using end game gear right away. Just saying.
Yeah,
I think there's good level locks and then there's bad level locks, is what it comes down to. Some level locks are just not great. Hey, Judah?
Yeah.
When someone dies, what happens to their gear?
Right now they get to keep it.
What's going to happen to their gear?
I'm gonna make you drop some, but I don't.
Oh, God.
I can't think
So
of a.
Empire, I think you found your solution to low-level players.
I can't think of
taking high-level gear.
I can't think of a good way to like make that fair. So it might just be you lose a lot of durability on them or something.
Durability. I would say the durability.
Durability's
Because
pretty normal right now. I wanted to
That
do.
depends on what you make the... Judah? I think that depends on what you make the manufacturing rate on, like, Gear 4.
It should be pretty steady rate.
If gear can't be destroyed, then eventually you're not going to be able to have a reason to get new gear at any point.
True. Oh, Empire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick you out now. Thanks for joining us.
alright.
Yeah. Okay, so originally I wanted gear to drop, much like the classic MMOs.
Yeah.
Like RuneScape, you keep like your top 3 gear or whatever. But even nowadays, that's not
if
really a
if
thing
you're going
anymore.
to do like a durability thing when they die, my suggestion is perhaps lowering the max durability of items
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so let me give you my original take, and then what I'm kind of thinking now. So originally, I want to do like full gear drop, maybe save like an item or two, and this kind of ties with the whole generational thing of like once your character dies, your next generation, your descendant or whatever, has to go find, if they want to, can go find your gear. Etc. So it makes each new character feel more unique, but also it kind of sucks when you lose all your top gear. So even though I didn't play Ultima Online back in the day, I understand that nobody made or wore the best gear. They all wore like the middling gear, because you always had that chance of dying and losing it.
I think that's gonna just depend on how much effort it takes to actually make the gear.
Mm-hmm. And then
In some games, people don't care about losing their top end gear.
and then like RuneScape, when I originally played it, you lose gear when dying, but I don't think any current MMO really does that. Not even current RuneScape. Like if you die, I don't think you drop anything anymore. And the only games where you drop your equipment now is our survival games. So like all that survival aspect of losing your gear went from the MMOs to the online survival games.
In Mankind Reborn, you will lose anything that's not equipped.
Going back to Mankind Reborn.
Yeah,
We gotta talk with him at some point.
That'd be nice.
Catch up with what's been going on.
In that particular game, if you're wearing armor, you'll keep it. I don't know if you have like a piece of armor in your inventory if it'll keep, but I know that you'll drop anything in your inventory, such as like magazines or like consumables. Now
that we have the bank, there might be more of incentive to not keep everything on you. Let me think about it. So anyway, my thought about it now. So my thought about it now is not to force the equipment drop. I still want to do the level loss, of course. And then just switch it over to like the durability hit. And then for like losing like your max durability on an item, I was gonna leave that to like the upgrading system. Like if you botch it goes down.
I'm not sure that makes the most sense.
No.
Because if you have items that can't be destroyed in any form, then they're just gonna continue to exist.
Yeah. That's also
Which is
true
why
with
the
like
World of
heavy
Warcraft,
crafting. With heavy crafting in it, there's got to be some sort of drain to remove the item from the economy.
If we look at EVE Online is the most extreme version of that.
Mm-hmm.
You get blowed up. Some of your stuff might survive getting blowed up and be in like a little capsule or something, or a storage container. but all the rest of it's gone. It's deleted.
Yeah.
Your ship's gone. Your implants are gone. Most of your cargo is probably gone. And those people just make ships like crazy.
Yeah, let
And
me.
end up having colossal battles where they lose $70,000 worth of equipment.
I'm open to trying more, checking it more. It's just right now we don't have like the gameplay loop of being able to generate or be able to get all your equipment again, or make all your equipment real quick again, or access the bank and pull more out.
Not unless you like at a store or something.
Yeah. So maybe once we add a store and add a quick way to like revend. Oh, and we need to put money in the bank. Wait, did I do that yet? Shoot.
Are you saying the bank doesn't accept money?
I don't think so. I think I only made it items right now. Because I made the bank and then I added money after. So I don't think I got around to transferring money to the bank.
Here's another question. Do you think that certain items should expire?
Certain items should expire? Like what? What do you mean? Like,
I don't know, like a muffin.
Like if you have food that eventually
Yeah.
ages and expires? I'd rather not.
You'd rather not?
Yeah, I don't think we need to do that.
Okay, that's understandable. If it was going to expire, you'd have to put like a really long expiry timer on it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to keep track of food like that as much as like once
No.
people make food, people are gonna use it anyways. And if it
hope
sits
so.
around for a year, that's okay. It's already naturally consumable, so we don't really have to worry about the food just collecting forever. It's really the equipment that's like as people create more and more with how we're gonna use it up.
Yeah, that's always going to be a problem. Inflation in MMOs has always been a huge issue.
Oh yeah.
I think World of Warcraft has it the worst, but that's only because the game's been around forever.
Yeah, it's like how do you keep balancing an economy for that long?
And they ended up throwing in the towel themselves, and they introduced something called the WoW token,
Mm-hmm.
which you can buy for real money and sell in game to another player for money.
Oh, you mean like Eve's Plex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is a way, so that is a way to drain money out for real money.
Not quite though, because you're not actually removing anything from the economy. You're just giving yourself an item that you can sell.
Well, from what I understand, I'm going from Eve Plex. I don't actually know what the WoW token is. But from what I understand, you can buy that for real money and then sell it so that when someone buys it with ISK, they then can use that Plex for like game time, right?
Yeah, they'll use it for game time, but there's also a whole bunch of other shit you can buy with it too. The only thing about that though is that unlike the WoW token, items in EVE Online tend to get destroyed and broken.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it's still turning. It's a way to buy like currency without directly buying currency, so it's not like they're generating more game currency, but they're.
The main difference is that if someone brand new comes along and just spends a bunch of money, they end up losing it because it gets blown up.
Yeah. I feel like
Whereas
it's still just a. I feel like for Eve, it's still a economy drain.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is for WoW.
In WoW, it wouldn't be any really economy drain because the gold doesn't leave the system.
It's neutral.
All the items never get deleted unless you explicitly delete them. The bank system just lets you pile up gold forever.
So what do you think?
There's no fee.
What do you think? We could be a bit more like Eve, and people won't mind. You lose your junk. I mean, people will mind, but I mean, people will understand.
I think as long as you can maintain a good ratio of the gear being worthwhile to get and make, and there being a way to either have it lose effectiveness or just be slowly destroyed over time. Not like instantly destroyed.
Yeah.
But if it's going to wear out or something, then that's probably better than, hey, it's an item that someone made.
Yeah, so
And it's going to
for a regular usage item, the plan right now is you use it, the durability goes down, you go get it repaired, and that will cost a little bit of money and time, I think. So that's a little drain. But the plan wasn't to actually have like the weapon wear down and eventually break from use. We can probably tie that to like I mean if we tie just the breakage to death, people would really not want to die in general, but if we drop it on death, it's kind of the same effect. But I mean, if you end up like say if you're doing like a dungeon or a raid and you die and your weapon breaks, that kind of sucks.
I'm thinking more along the lines of you should have a good idea of when your weapons are most likely going to break.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this thing is like down to 10% of its life left. That sort of deal.
Yeah.
So I should look into getting a new sword.
I wanna bake wear into it somehow. Wear and tear.
Because at some point it's just going to be, if there's no way to get items out of the system, everything's going to get wacky. No one's going to need, like, resources. Because no one's going to be buying new stuff.
Yeah. It's a good question. I'm still thinking about it.
Services like banking, storage, and all that does create some sort of economy drain. But that shouldn't be anything that's, like, a serious amount of drain.
Yeah, those are just little minor drains. It's essentially so back in the I really like Ultima Online, the design of it.
Yeah.
So I've read a lot of through a lot of Raf Koster's design notes and stuff that he has on his website. But like their original idea was to have no real drain, but like a loop back for the system.
Mm-hmm.
So like once resources are used, they're again available at the top of the or back available. So there was like a finite resource for everything, like fur for animals or something. But what they didn't realize until people started playing was that people hoard whatever they can. So like even though like rabbits can realistically like drop more fur, players were hoarding so much of it that it couldn't be dropped anymore. So they had to change that whole design. So instead, it's like faucet and drain. It's that's pretty much where we are today.
You know that was such a bad design too. Now that I think about it, because at that point, what do? Do you just keep hammering away at rabbits? While people slowly use their reserves until you own the entire rabbit for reserve.
Yeah, like the idea of like a whole self-contained system is great, but it's unrealistic. So where we are today, we have faucets and drains. So I mean that's why there's a lot of like calculated loot drops. Is like because you don't want too much of the whatever resource in the system, but it's still. The faucet's still dripping at whatever set rate, and then at the bottom of the whole economy is like the drain. Like, how do you get money out of the system? How do you get items out of the system? Mm-hmm. And then being able to tweak that.
People can be pretty generous sometimes. Have you ever played a Well, of course. Have you played Fallout before?
Yeah. I mainly played Fallout 3 and New Vegas. I have played a little bit of 2.
I'm sure as you've gone through the game, you've run into like various quests or even situations where it's like, hey, this person needs money.
And I'm like, yes, I have money.
Just random NPC, you'll give them money. If it's another player, you're sure as shit not giving them money.
Oh yeah. That's because from an
but you can easily.
That's because from an NPC, you're like, oh yeah, if I give you money, you're gonna give me something in return later, right? But for players,
and even then, sometimes it's just nothing in return. It's just feel-good feelings.
Yeah, my stat goes up.
But you can create your own drains to that. You can create economic issues. You can create like, oh, the city's been ravaged. They need help. Lots of minor things. Just Nice flavor.
It's a
for
big
them.
old, it's a
Get
big old
the,
fundraising event. Give your materials and money.
become a hero. Have the people like you. Have your crimes go unnoticed because they won't report you to the police because you saved their fucking city.
If your rep is high
So
enough,
you're-
no one will actually check your crimes.
Just make sure you're only robbing the out-of-city folks.
Yeah, just don't commit murder.
You need a lot of reputation to commit murder.
You have to be king.
I don't know. At some point, it's like, oh god, he murdered him? Wonder what he did.
Yeah. Murder.
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 Murder. I think, if you do a lot of exploration stuff, I think that's also going to be a pretty sizable sink for, well, money.
Yeah, I gotta think about the item drop still. Maybe at least drop inventory now that we have a bank. So much to adjust and
You
feel.
might want to flag certain items as actually droppable.
Well, materials. It would suck to drop whatever spare items you have in your equipment or in
You know
your
what I mean,
bag.
Like for each individual item that exists in the game, you might want to have a flag as if this thing can actually be dropped on death. If you're thinking of doing that,
I should.
because at some point you're gonna drop a quest item due to some bug, and it's not gonna be cool.
You are probably right. Yeah, right now I'm doing all sorts of like data adjustments for the combat anyways, for like attack and stuff. So adding another variable like that probably won't be that difficult.
No, it's pretty good. So, have you made any considerations for manufacturing and crafting lately?
No, it's all been about combat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Combat. Yeah, so like right now I'm thinking of I was thinking about how to mirror the character to make them left-handed, because that's just been one of my goals for the since the beginning, is being able to have people be left-handed as like a style choice, an option choice.
I mean, you could always try pulling what they did with Legend of Zelda. Not that I would recommend doing that for an MMO.
Well, that
but-
actually gave me an idea. So I've been trying to.
Do you remember what they did?
Yes, I know what they did for like was it Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess?
I think it was
Twilight Princess between the GameCube and the Wii version, because of the motion controls. I know each game is like flipped, mirrored. So
Yeah.
the GameCube version is like the traditional Link where he's left-handed.
Yeah. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could see if there's a shader that will let you completely just invert.
Oh, let me actually tell you how.
Then invert the controls.
Let me actually tell you what I've figured out. This actually literally yesterday or last night.
Yeah, sure. let's hear
So
it.
actually in Breath of the Wild, is Link left-handed again or is he right-handed?
That's a good question.
Because I never remember. I feel like he's
I think
left-handed
they-
still.
I don't know. I feel like they made him right-handed.
I feel like that they did that too, but I can't remember. It's not motion control, so they should be able to. He should be left-handed again.
I just distinctly remember the over the right shoulder camera during combat.
Yeah. My Switch is downstairs. I might check during lunch.
Okay.
But yeah. So that whole flipping thing that they did for Twilight Princess gave me an idea in the middle of the night before. I was like, wait, because so finding and mirroring all the animations and setting up that system to mirror to get like a mirrored animation for everything, and setting up all the stats to be left-handed versus right-handed, it is not fun. I can tell you that.
I think the only issue with creating with mirroring the entire world would be that you'd be mirroring everyone.
Oh no, I
else
won't
as
be
well.
mirroring the world. That's not feasible because it's shared
Yeah.
with everybody else. So
Well, I mean, it could be. You just have to mirror the You just have to invert the left and right control.
but then everybody's left-handed. and I want to give everybody that. I want to give everybody
know.
a choice. So, anyways, so thinking about like how they mirrored the game worlds, like, wait, can't I just mirror the character? So with some tweaking, I figured out that I can indeed mirror the rig, and that doesn't really seem to cause an issue except for the IK system. So I figured if I mirror the character before the IK system sets up, it actually works out pretty well. So essentially we only need like one set of animations for everything, and then if you're left-handed, your character itself is mirrored.
Apparently Unity supports mirroring animations.
Yes, it does, actually. But getting that all set up for our system will be like twice as much work. So the goal, because we're not limited by the engine necessarily. We're limited by how much time and work and animation setup. And if we had to do like double the animations for that, even if it's just copying, it's copying and mirroring them. So each one requires like another asset set up for it.
So the reason I say that is because there is, on the animation state system, there is a flag that's literally labeled mirror.
Yes.
Are you saying that just doubles the amount of animations?
Let me double check, because I think you have to do that on the animation state or the animation itself. Maybe our animation system can handle it, but that was like for each animation that's playing still. So what I'm saying is that still requires more setup compared to what if instead of like, and for like the stats, we would have to set up like on hand versus off hand instead of just left and right, and then like how when we load in the model, the sword model and everything is like setting up which hand it actually loads to, compared to if we can just mirror the whole character itself, the code and all the system still thinks that you're attacking with your main hand, or usually your right hand. So all that stat wise still works really well.
If you do that, are you going to have interesting issues when it comes to items and cosmetics?
I wanted to make sure that it didn't affect any of like the shaders and stuff, and it doesn't seem to yet. Like the biggest issue seemed to be the IK system, but if we mirror the character before the IK system gets to set up, I think we're good.
Okay.
And
if you
the running the strafe animation is inverted. It's reverse.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question about the left-handed thing. Are you gonna have to do that at character creation time?
So at character creation you'll be able to flip back and forth, and and we already reload the character anyways during certain times, so we'll just have to make sure we refresh it.
The only reason I bring that up is because if they have any asymmetrical features and you're mirroring the model, you kind of can't let them change that mirror after.
No, we'll make a mirror.
Character creation.
You're right. We'll have to make the mirror at the beginning. Sorry, Fury just said something that needed moderated. Fury reported something that needed to be moderated.
Okay, I was having a bit of a moment there. It's like, well.
Let's say there was exposed a dragon in art creative.
Let's see. Really? Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, do you see it in the
Admin bot log?
Yeah.
Yes, I see that very much.
Does it still have the picture in there?
Oh yeah, it does. It's an Amazon like Trello link.
Oh,
It's a Trello attachment for something.
so we were talking and chatting, and I didn't really notice. Until I saw the picture, but I didn't actually look at it until Fury said something. I was like, oh, definitely an oh whoa moment.
Jesus Christ.
I get he's trying to make a new character, but doesn't need to we don't need like the full body shot like that. Or it wasn't even a full body shot, it was the it was like close ups to it. It's like
Yeah, that's just not good.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I've been completely derailed.
Yeah, you've been derailed for a good reason.
I'm gonna delete my OWO. Also, happy Pride Month.
Ooh.
I'm gonna probably cut that part out from the recording too.
Yeah, we can't be talking about that.
I mean, we can. But yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. What were we talking about? Animations? Animations, eggplants?
Yeah, we were talking about the animations and mirroring and the various issues that made.
Are we going to allow ERP?
No.
Why not?
If I look in your terms of service, I'm pretty sure it says like 13 plus.
Oh, okay. Probably want to raise it to like 15 plus.
You would have to make a completely separate service.
Okay, so I'm just thinking about like Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy does officially support 14
God.
does officially support roleplay. And what's their rating? Are they T? No, they're unrated. It's online games are not rated by the ESRB because of their nature of being online. But I mean, they're
online interactions aren't rated by the
yeah.
ESRB.
So, but the game itself is like T, right? Yeah, it's T.
I don't know.
So I mean, it's not like we're gonna officially support ERP, but I mean, if people do it on the server, as long as they're not harassing passerbys, or they're doing it off wherever, it's not like we're gonna really care or notice.
Yeah, we're not.
It's only when they're like
checking.
bothering a bunch of other people. The GM will probably. What you up to? What
am I going to be up to? I don't know. I'm going to be doing more development work as usual.
Yay, me too.
I'm waiting for the world to get back to semi-normalcy.
Yeah. I'm but barring that, I am working on a lot of animation stuff right now.
Yeah.
Which I mean feels really good. It's very visible work that people can see.
Of course, it's the most visible.
I know exactly. It's like yeah, people can see like it's nice because I could send screenshots and stuff like nightly of like what I'm doing.
Oh yeah,
it feels really good.
Yeah, I'm planning to look at the Unreal Engine PlayFab integration and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, so I think for the next few days I'm gonna set up some like more weapons. So I'm gonna set up that like Zweihander. Zweihander? Zweihander. Yeah. I'm gonna set up like a
A
two-handed
dry-hander?
weapon. I need to work on I need to make like a club. I think right now
Ooh, a
it's
club.
just gonna like just like a club. I don't know if I'm gonna add different animations for like a blunt object.
Okay. Oh, here's a question for you. On the combat side of things, do you have multiple damage types?
I'm gonna treat it like right now it's like blunt. First for like melee, it's gonna be blunt, stab, and slash.
Wouldn't that basically boil down to blunt, slashing, and piercing?
Yeah, that's what I mean. What did I say? I
Okay.
meant pierce, like piercing damage.
Stab.
Yeah, stab.
I wasn't sure if you're going to differentiate between stabbing and
No,
arrows.
that's piercing. So like a spear or halberd are gonna be piercing.
Okay.
Um,
Does elemental damage work?
e-
Is that
that's
a
gonna
thing?
be a thing. Yeah. So we're gonna have
That's good.
fire, water, or ice. And then like
Electricity?
electricity. Yeah, those seem to be like the
Okay.
trifecta. Oh, and
So-
earth damage too, I guess.
Earth.
Dirt. It's pretty blunt.
So
Pretty blunt
we-
damage.
So do we count falling as earth damage or blunt damage?
Sorry. I don't know. It's gonna be. So I'm wondering. So I was just thinking about it. I was like, we still might want to do like damage type and then like the elemental attribute, because I'm thinking like water would be blunt versus like an ice spear, which would be piercing. And then earth, same thing with earth. It's like you hit someone with a rock that's blunt, but if you
I was mostly joking about.
but if you hit someone with like a terra spike, earth spike or something, that's piercing. I don't know. Might just do elemental. It'll be easier.
Yeah. Well, because fire is definitely going to be elemental.
Oh,
damage.
yeah. Blunt fire.
Blunt fire.
Fire that blunt.
Let's see. So environmental damage is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my fireballs were testing. Like if you step into like a fire, I want you to take damage.
Step in the fire, take damage. Step in the lava, take damage.
Yes. Step in the pool of acid, take damage. Oh, acid is another elemental type, I guess.
Would that be like? Would you call that acid or would you just call it corrosive?
I was thinking acid, but
Under the
corrosive
hood.
probably. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I'm just thinking. I think I guess, or is that poison? It's technically poison. Poison damage.
I don't think I'd call acid.
You would
poison.
think acid is separate than poison.
Yeah.
I guess if you're a battle alchemist, you could throw acid everywhere. Acid and poison.
Because acid seems more like a very like potentially aggressive damage over time. But it's handled much differently than say. Well, you can't drink anti-acid.
No.
You can have anti-venom or poison like cures, but it's hard to say. Okay. Lightning strikes.
Lightning damage. Electric damage. I mean, if we have like an actual like strike happen near you, yeah.
Hail.
Snow. I don't know. I don't think
No
we'll
hail?
actually have like hail. We'll just have like heavy blizzard. I was looking into like doing like how well you're clothed in an environment, but I don't think we're gonna worry about that. Like temperature,
Yeah,
actual
that's-
temperature.
It's probably too
It's
much.
a bit much. I mean, it's cool in Breath of the Wild, but it's kind of
In Breath of the Wild, it's like I think they just established a few very large volumes that just say, oh, it's this temperature.
yeah. I think that's what they did. Like all around the Fire Mountain, of course, the snow areas.
I can't imagine they did much more other than just like overlapping areas.
So they make certain areas freezing at night. Oh, the desert. They made the desert region cooler
Yeah.
at night, and I mean they played around with the mechanic a little bit.
I think a desert would be an interesting environment.
Would be.
Not like because of the amount of stuff there, but only because of how inhospitable it would be in game. Because there's very little like to farm or get. The ocean's pretty similar, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're going for a voyage, you're probably gonna be gone for a while. Let's see, what else can we talk about?
I don't know. We're kind of done for the day, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. It's like, it's about lunchtime.
It
for
is
me, right?
almost lunchtime, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
starting to
almost
get
lunchtime.
hungry.
Oh,
Not hangry, just
okay,
hungry.
so banking question.
Yes,
How many banks?
all of them.
Separate?
I mean bank per town, right?
I think what you could reasonably do is you could separate banking into 2 categories.
Yeah.
Money banking and item banking.
Yes. So yeah, I mean for bank you can deposit money one place and pull it out anywhere else.
But that doesn't make the same. That doesn't make sense with
Items are regional. So I mean, we could probably set it up so that if we have two banks in the same town, they share the same inventory. For that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
So
reasonable.
it's more like
You
regional.
You don't want to
Banks are in like regions. So if you go to the next town, you gotta pay to transport
You
it.
don't want to make it like too difficult for
No.
people. I assume that there's also going to be, well, I assume that banks are going to be both regional and national. Cuda?
What? Yeah. It's just like keep it simple. So essentially
There's some places you're going to be able to go that you're not going to be able to just withdraw money.
Yeah, but I mean, dude,
Bastion Islands aren't going to accept the fact that you deposited money.
hey, merchants are everywhere. Merchants have
capital.
it figured out.
Merchants might be everywhere, but merchants usually have the money to actually bring their money with them.
Yeah, but I mean, do you really want to carry around that much money?
Well, that's
Speaking
the
of
entire
merchants,
point of a merchant.
speaking of merchants, since I've been without my phone this last week, I've been
Without spam calls.
yeah. So I've had no like entertainment, so I'm actually been finishing some books. And speaking of merchants, it's like I really like the Spice and Wolf series, so I'm
Yeah.
finally about to finish that. And there's like the depth that they go into into like the medieval economy and all the money changing and coins and like how do they calculate the rate of goods and stuff like that. It's like I find that very interesting.
Yep. It's always been strange.
I like the book series. Have you read it? Watch the
No.
anime?
I'm familiar with it to some extent, but not to like a huge extent. On that note, huh.
Huh.
Goddamn, I'm running out of things.
I
to
know,
talk
me
about.
too. I think I'm done and tired for the week.
Yeah. Done
Done and
tired.
tired. Okay, so yeah, I'll I guess I'm gonna stitch this episode together and see how well it works in a podcast form.
You might have to combine it with the next one with the amount of content we did or didn't get.
We got
in.
an hour. That's enough. I think.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's only like at most like 10 or 15 minutes of words in there,
I mean for
and a considerable.
us. I mean even just half an hour's worth is not bad.
Sure. I'm hoping that on the next week I'm gonna have some interesting things to talk about.
Me
well.
too, because by next week I should be starting to reconcile the animation stuff with like the actual server stuff. Because right now it's just mostly visual, and then sending like the fire commands off. Like,
Ooh, that is the important
Yeah.
thing. Huh?
yeah. So and then the server's gotta. So the server doesn't really care so much about the timing. It doesn't care about the animations, but it does care about the timing and whether you have enough stamina to do it, and make sure like, that the amount of time that you took to like do that attack is
Yeah.
actually valid.
But at the same time, it has to be like you have to play it on the client side.
Yeah.
But if the client's legitimate, then it should have a good idea of how much stamina it actually
Mm-hmm.
has.
Yeah. So I'm using a lot more client side data. So essentially, the server is verifying the timings. Like, so the client will play the animation, knowing that it has enough stamina. But
Yeah.
if the server goes back and says, "Oh, you don't actually have enough to do this,"
Which should ideally never
Yeah.
happen.
so the server
should-
will actually say whether you did do that attack and whether it does damage or not to anything.
Yeah. Really, the only time that's ever gonna matter is if someone tries busting out cheating.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that and then in that case they're just adjusting local variables on their client. The
Yeah.
server still decides whether you actually attacked or not.
Yeah. Unless you're playing Dreamworld, in which case cheat engine. is
What
all you
server?
need. They had a server, but if you just tell it anything, it accepts it as a truth.
Yeah, we no, we're way more authoritative than that.
Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Sorry. Anyway, I think that's enough for today, I guess. It's 3 for me, it should be 12 for you.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Very
I'm gonna
close.
eat some leftover Thai food.
Okay.
Hungry.
Isn't that the only kind of Thai food?
Leftover? I mean it's good fresh, but it's also really good leftover. So actually,
There's
you're right.
very few- There's very few foods that people eat leftover. Would you eat leftover eggs?
If they're like a same day, yeah.
I don't consider that leftover.
Eggs have like a 24-hour period where they're still edible after being cooked.
I consider if the sun goes down and comes up, it's leftover. That's how I view it.
Yeah. So like if I make them in the morning and I put them away, I can have them at night, and you don't consider them leftover.
No, that's just pre-prepared.
But
food.
like but what if I make them put away and then eat them for breakfast the next day?
Well, I think that's more pre-prepared than leftover because you didn't eat part
Oh,
of it.
okay. Yeah, if eggs are over like a day old, if past that, like if I don't think I would do it.
Yeah, leftover pizza. Now
Pizza
that's-
lasts for a long time.
Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't really last for a long time though.
Well, I mean,
You never get to scale.
physically it doesn't last, but because it's eaten. Yeah. No, I'll eat most food left over. Like
Would you eat leftover toast?
soggy toast? It would have to be like cooked again. No.
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 You know you know what happens to toast. It gets all weird when you leave it
Yeah.
out. Even weirder than like regular stuff. Most items, regular items, you can't eat leftover. It's the ones you make out of other stuff like pizza or Chinese food.
Chinese food's great leftover. Yeah, other than like Oh, fries are kind of terrible leftover. You have to like recook them.
Yeah, yeah. Leftover fries are terrible. Leftover poutine's not the worst.
Well, no, that's cheese curds, right?
Poutine is French fries, cheese, curds, and gravy.
Yeah, I can see that still being good because
It's
the fries are already expected to be soggy, right?
oh yeah, definitely. They're not gonna get any
Yeah,
soggier.
so should be fine.
Anyway, let you hop to it.
Yeah, I gotta respond to a work thing and then
Yeah,
eat lunch.
see you later.
So bye. Thanks for joining us.